All right, we're live. What's up? What's going on, everybody? Doing another live stream here. We're here tonight. Also, this is a recording of the Savage Boston podcast, so that'll go live on Apple and Spotify and whatnot. But I'm Scott, host of the Savage Boston podcast, here tonight with Snooty and our good buddy, our pal. Very putting out the Pats content on Instagram right now. We got Mr. Fitzy, who's also like the face of the podcast right now.
I'm the only one brave enough to show my face for the season ahead for the New England Patriots. And what a beautiful face it is. Guys, I'm so fired up. You haven't seen this face on the Jumbotron in a while, but you're going to see this face all over Patriots content, Patriots tailgates, and beyond the season. Because I, like you guys, want to sign up for the Revenge Tour 2026, which begins on Wednesday Night Football in Seattle at Lumen Field and concludes in February, just before President's Day at SoFi Field. And SoFi, so far, I'm effing pumped for everything Patriots. This schedule is going to be like freaking riding the cyclone at Coney Island. It is going to be bumpy. It is going to be rough, but at the end, it's going to be positively orgasmic.
Honestly, dude, just looking through it, it was kind of, on paper before you kind of see it laid out in the schedule in order. I was like, all right, this is, I think this feels pretty doable on paper. Like, it didn't look that bad. Now seeing it actually kind of like laid out in order, there's some tough fucking stretches in there. And you know what I mean? And we can kind of like break it down between there's like clear, distinct stretches of the season, like where it's tough, where it's easy. But yeah, and here we got Pats Pro saying F yeah, go Fitzy on here. Thanks for tuning in, Pats.
What's up, Pats Pro? What's up?
So yeah, I mean, obviously we'll go step by step, but there's some there are cupcakes on there too. Like I see the bottom should be really like 6 or 7 if we're talking like the bottom of the bottom.
Oh, no way you just did a 6-7 this early in the show.
6-7. I'm making the hand things. Can't see me. I'll do the hand gestures. I do have little kids that do that. But yeah, like there's, as you know, right, there's periods of time in the schedule that are going to be like absolutely brutal. So, I don't know. Why don't you give me your initial like 50,000 foot view here, Fitzy, on the schedule as a whole and how you feeling about it?
Oh, so the Artemis 2 on launch view of the Patriots 2026 schedule, because, commercial airline 35,000. Look, the NFL is doing the New England Patriots no favors whatsoever, and not just because of the Vrabel Rossini nonsense going on. Because look, you're the Patriots, you're the lumber of the league now, you're the defending AFC champions, and if you want to fight for your right to party once again, then you, like Private Ryan, are going to have to earn this. It's tough. It is not a forgiving schedule. I know last year they had a historically easy schedule, maybe one of the easiest schedules this century to get to the AFC Championship and subsequently Super Bowl 60. But they say this is the 12th easiest schedule. 12th easiest schedule, my partially Greek and mostly Irish untanned ass. This is, look at it, at Seahawks, Steelers. Like, tell me amongst these teams, how many potential playoff teams at Seahawks, Steelers, Jaguars, Bills, Raiders, Jets, Bears, Dolphins. Right there, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the first 7 weeks potentially playoff teams. That is you open with a gauntlet, and 3 of the first 4 are on the road, and the only home game is against the Steelers. And let us all not forget what happened last year when they played the Steelers. A, Pop Douglas forgot where the first down marker was on 4th down, and B, the Patriots gagged it up a total of 6 times on their home turf to open 0-2 for the first 2 home games. And then after that, you get the Dolphins, but it's in Miami, which is always its own sort of humidor-based house of horrors. Packers at home when Brady returns as a commentator. Lions in Germany, hell of a Spieltag. Then Chargers, Bills, Vikings, Chiefs. You have a brief interlude of the Jets, and then Broncos, and finish with the Dolphins. Like, guys, that's some rough riding right there. What's like?
Yeah, it's no joke.
Schedule and a half, man. No bullshit.
I know. Snooty, how you feeling for your initial thoughts?
I mean, we knew the opponents. I mean, you're right, Fitzy. Like, I mean, it's a hard schedule, right? You play a first place schedule. You are the team that everybody's going to be looking for. But to paraphrase Bill Parcells, this is why you lift all them weights, right? Like this is what you're here for. I like the fact that the West Coast game, there were 2 West Coast trips. The first one's week 1, and you get a little bit of a mini bye off of that. So I kind of like that. I like that you're playing the Lions in Germany, so it's not in Detroit, so it's kind of a little bit more neutral.
Well, they say Munich is the Detroit of Germany, so.
And then the second, West Coast trip is coming off the bye, so it's like in that regard, it's not too bad. And Dolphins at home the last week of the year, that's a win because I've seen that movie 3,000 times.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Snooty Tang. How many of these games, if you had, and I understand, gas is expensive, we can't have Iran build a bomb, thanks Obama, all this bullshit, right? Like, how many of these games would you love to attend? Because I'll tell you straight, I would love to go to the Seahawks game. I wouldn't mind even going to Jacksonville, even though Jacksonville is nothing more than a humid dollar store that smells like corn nuts. Love to go to the Bills game to see the new high mark and watch the Patriots hang an L. Love to go to the Bears game. I was going to go to that, but it's a Thursday night, which makes it tough. Packers home game, got to see that. Lions, Germany, Chiefs. I've never been to Arrowhead or Gah Field as they call it now. I'd say there's a solid 7 or 8 games I really want to go to.
No, I agree, and there's some really good away games too. And it's good because it's the NFC North, which they don't come here very often, right? So to see the Packers here would be cool. Even the Vikings here would be cool. And I'd love to go to Arrowhead someday.
Yeah, by the way, looking at it, I already kind of mapped out. I got 5 games I've circled that I think I'm going to go to that I already mapped out. Got all 5 mapped out, and I have not considered.
By the way, it's not even Memorial Day, and we are wishing away the most important part of the year in New England. That is late spring and summertime.
Bring us to the fall.
God, just get me there already. It sounds so great. What do you?
Savage.
What do you got?
Well, I don't know who's going to. I don't know who's doing the big away week this year. Is it? I don't know if it's Jacksonville or guys doing Jacksonville. I'm not sure. It's like a big group that does a bunch of away games.
Oh, yeah. Like last year.
Yeah.
They played in Tennessee. Great
Tampa,
fan club in Tennessee. My buddy Jay runs the Tampa Patriots fan club.
Yeah.
They did that weekend up right for everybody. I don't know. And there's also Cincinnati, and the Natty Pats Club is also a tremendous host as well. I don't see any games where there's a lot of great hospitality on the road for the Patriots, but I will say, it's not like, the Duval Patriots fan club is a big deal down in Jacksonville. But I will say the big one probably should be Germany because the Deutschland Patriots fan club is awesome. There's a huge, thanks to guys like Vollmer and Marcus Kuhn, there's a huge Pats contingent over in Germany.
All right. Well, we got I did hear about Germany. Yeah. Beast Mode is a big Germany international fan of the year guy. He's a German guy. Boston sales guy makes a comment. They're going to Jacksonville this year. That's cool. I think that might be the game. I'll have to investigate that. The ones I've circled as far as in Foxborough.
Pack your breathable underwear, Boston sales guy, because that place is hot.
Yeah, I've never been there, but I got, so this is actually well spaced out. Week 2 against Pittsburgh, I'm gonna go. A home opener, you gotta go. Week 6, just 1:00 against the Jets. I feel like that's a standard. I'll go with my dad. Just a standard 1 p.m. Jets football game should be a win. Then there's a few must attends. I feel like you have to go to Green Bay at Foxborough week 9. Brady will be there. That's an absolute must.
That might be a Super Bowl preview. It also could be Micah Parsons could be 4 weeks in, just getting his legs underneath him. The Packers with that, Mike LaFleur is a great play caller. Jordan Love is a ton of fun to see live. Yeah. And it's going to be early November. That is must see gridiron TV.
Absolutely. And then there's the 425 Bills game, week 13, I believe it is, which is just going to be a national viewing. Drake May, Josh Allen down the stretch. I expect that to be an excellent game. And the last one I'll go to is week 17 against the Broncos at home, which is just, I don't know. God knows where we're at that point. That'll be playoff, huge playoff implications. Hopefully everyone's healthy at that point, but that's a massive game. So I don't know. There's a lot coming, but let's chat about, just look at, break it down.
Could I ask you guys a real quick question? Little fun game to play improvisationally on the live stream. Here we go. Ready? 5 NFL teams got 0 primetime games.
Oh man.
If anyone can guess the 5 Boston sales guy. I wonder if the pool will be open this coming year. I've heard they're shutting it down. Yeah, that's because it's full of unborn babies and syphilis. The hantavirus lives in there. I was told we're no hantavirus jokes. Okay. So 5 NFL teams got 0 primetime games. Can you name them?
I can name at least 3 right now, I assume. So the Jets would be one.
Whenever the question is about futility in football, you start with Jets.
Yeah, Jets, Titans, Cardinals. Are those 3?
That's 3.
Okay, boom. All right, Jets, Titans, Cardinals.
Roll, kid.
Dolphins.
Oh my god.
Snooty with 4. All I need is
Dolphins,
one more
okay.
for the complete Savage podcast sweep. Let's go.
Oh my god.
So you got Jets, Titans,
bad enough.
Cardinals, Dolphins. Who else would
like
be?
Who's not
the
marketable?
Browns would get 1.
Just bad enough.
Who's not marketable is the real
Come
question.
on. Yeah, I mean, listen, these guys, I mean, they're going to try this year, but they're probably going to tuck it in.
Raiders?
Oh, 5 for 5. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Wow, really? They don't have any? I feel like, well, I guess they're not there yet. You know what I mean? Mendoza won't be there yet. I actually have no idea if he's playing, when he'll play. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what's going on with Mendoza. But
Yeah. So there you go. Jets, Titans, Raiders, Cardinals. It could be Kirky 2 Chain starting most of the year too, because don't forget Kirk Cousins is a backup too. Mendoza.
Dude, the Titans are a miserable watch. I feel like the Jets are a horrible watch. The Cardinals are maybe the worst team in football. Like there's just like there's some pretty bad teams here too. Like I feels very top heavy, bottom heavy. There's not, you know what I mean? Some leagues like are smooth in the middle. Like this feels like a lot of really good teams and a lot of really shitty teams. And I don't know how it's going to end up playing out. But yeah, like so I want to look at the first 4 games to start, right? Because obviously really important to start your year, right? And I feel like they got just like hammered here. And you could have a case if you want to blame Robert Kraft, because I read this tweet and this is apt. Okay. Robert Kraft, because of the World Cup, I think felt like he missed out on the summer concert tour. So he scheduled a bunch of concerts in September and early October. So they have 1 home game in the first 4 weeks, right? And so, I mean, there's an argument there, but obviously week 1 against the Seahawks, week 2 at home against the Steelers, and then it's back on the road against Jacksonville and Buffalo. And that's like, to me, I mean, you got to find 2 wins in there, but I don't know where you find them. So, Snooty, where do you find your 2 wins in there out of those 4 teams?
Pittsburgh and Jacksonville. I don't think much of Jacksonville. It kind of similar to Miami. It kind of sucks going down there early in the year. You figures the 1 year they're not in Miami, fucking week 2, they're down in Jacksonville week 3. I don't have any faith in the Steelers this year. So much upheaval. I sneaky think they're going to be better than you think on week 1. I think they're 4.5-point dogs against Seattle. And then honestly with Buffalo, I feel like with Buffalo here or Buffalo there, it's a toss-up. Like it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams. Both have proven that they can win in the other team's stadium. I mean, I don't write that off as a loss at all, even though it's on the road. They won there last year, and I feel like they're a better team this year. And I'm not sure if Buffalo really got much better.
That's fair. How do you feel, Fitzy?
Yeah, opening with the there's already been so much online grousing about opening the season with a Super Bowl rematch. Like the point has been like let the Seahawks and the Patriots kind of get up to speed so that like it's a proper rematch and you have both teams at full operational firepower and strength. I don't care. Like, no, let's catch Seattle off guard. Let's get the Patriots extra motivated. Let's do it on a Wednesday at 5:00 Seattle time, Pacific time. Like, I don't care about that. And as far as the early schedule goes, like you should be able to beat the Steelers because you could have beaten them last year. But I will disagree with Snoot Sweet over here about like the Steelers. Like I think they've kind of improved the team a little bit. I think McCarthy is an upgrade over disinterested late season Mike Tomlin. I like the fact that they stole Michael Pittman for a song from Indianapolis. The running back that they got from Carolina, Rico Dowdle. Like, I love what the Steelers have done. I think that's going to be a really tough game, but it should be a good old fashioned knock them down, drag them out, snot kicking fight. Jags will be tough. Like, yeah, it's you have to walk away 2-2, which is what they did last year in their September, right? And then they turned America's heads, as well as those of everybody in Western New York with that incredible Sunday night performance in Buffalo. You got to do the same thing. But then what you need to do is get out of the first month with 2-2. I think you may 3-1 would be incredible. I think they can beat they opened up as -4 as a 4-point dog. Like, Seattle's good. They had defensive attrition because that's what happens to all the Super Bowl champions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with Pat's Pro in the chat who just said WWWL. I could see it being WWLW. I could see you winning at the Seahawks, beating the Steelers, actually getting surprised in Duval, and then beating the Bills once again at Krymark Stadium. And then you get on a roll, beat the Raiders, beat the Jets, have a dogfight against the Bears, win against the Dolphins. And then you get into the Packers game and you're like, hey, you know what? 5-3, we're feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And if you get into the bye 6-4, 7-3, like that's rock solid, man. But again, I feel like, as I pass the mic back to you, Savage, like I feel like this schedule is better suited to test the mettle of this team so that come playoff time, they're not like, oh shit, do you guys know how to do playoffs? None of us have been to the playoffs before. Like, Mike, what do we do? Like, Houston's defense is really good. Jim Harbaugh's guys hit really hard. It's cold in Denver. Remember Drake May saying, like, it's hard, Josh. They weren't ready for Seattle. They were almost not ready. They somehow magically made their way to the Super Bowl. Like, this schedule will toughen them up. This will dip them in the river playoff sticks. This will make them hardened badasses come playoff time. That's why I really like how tough it is.
Question. Hold on, quick. Just read question real quick from Zane Hancock in here. Just says, how do you feel about facing the NFC North defensively? They'll be tough. Like,
toughest division in football this year, and that's over the AFC North.
It's a grind. I feel like every team is kind of a grind. I just, with the Bears, like, I don't know. I think the Bears, to me, like, I don't trust Caleb Williams, and I know he's had an okay performances, but like, I think Ben Johnson's a good coach. I think Caleb. I think Caleb's inconsistent and has made some incredible plays, but he's wildly inconsistent. If you put him against a tricky defense like a Mike Vrabel defense where, they confuse people, and their Patriots are a really tough third down defense. You get them in third and long, they're tough. So I think you can beat the Bears even on the road. I do. I think that's winnable. The Packers are tough. Again, that's a good game, a really good game. That should be a dogfight football game. Same with the Lions. I think you can beat the Lions on the road. That to me that's a toss-up. That's not like, oh shit, this isn't the Lions of like 1 or 2 years ago, even like 2 years ago. They're beatable. They don't have Ben Johnson. So to me, that's a beatable team. And I think the Vikings are kind of weakish. I don't trust that.
No, do not sleep on the Vikings though. Like I want to push
Kyler.
That. No.
Kyler Murray?
No, like they were 9-8 last year with some of they started Max Brosmer. Who? Max Brosmer, like that sounds like the name of the guy that graduated college that your like mom wanted to set your sister up with. Like, Max Brosmer, he's making nice money, honey. You should get like seriously. Like the fact that Kevin O'Connell coached that team with JJ McCarthy and all the injuries they had last year to 9 wins. Don't sleep on the Cardinals. And he's one of those QB whisperers. He's from that McVay tree, which is the sexy new tree in the NFL. For everyone to cull from and want to grow coaches and coordinators from. So if McVay could do the things he did and reinvent Baker Mayfield, do not sleep on Kevin O'Connell, both trying to cracking the enigma code of JJ McCarthy, but more importantly, getting the Call of Duty jitterbug that is Kyler Murray to actually be an effective weapon. I would think that Justin Jefferson goes back to double-digit touchdowns, 1,500 yards, like. Wouldn't sleep on that game at all. That'll be a tough one. And you're playing the Bills at home Sunday at 4:25. You don't start feeling like a human being until Wednesday morning after 3 hours of car crashes against the hot sauce Orcs from Buffalo. And then on Thursday night, you've got a motivated Vikings team coming in, hoping to maybe scratch out a wild card spot in the NFC North. That's some tough sledding, guys.
The thing is, though,
you go.
Of those 4 teams, like, obviously, Detroit's probably the scariest team, right? But again, neutral field.
Or Green Bay.
or who knows? Fine. Then Green Bay would be the other one. You're at home, right? Minnesota is probably the toughest defense. You're at home on a Thursday night, right? So, like, I get it. It's tough, but just given when the games are and where they're being played, like, that's about as good as an outcome as you can possibly get. The only true road game is the Bears, and that's the one that we're all kind of questioning the most, just from like, do you believe in Williams? They pulled so much shit out of their ass at the end of games, like
Snooty and the Blowfish. I can guarantee you that the Bears versus Patriots will be 10,000 times better than it was 2 years ago. And I was at that game, and that game was miserable. The Patriots got half of the sacks that they had for the entire season in that one game. It was awful. Yeah. Caleb is, like your favorite restaurant that has a drunk chef where like one night they churn out the greatest meal you've ever had. And the next night you're like, I didn't remember ordering a cigarette in my hamburger, but okay, I'll give it a try. Like, he is wild, man. He's all over the place, but they've got a great run game, a good offensive line. You can score on them for sure. Like Drake and the boys will be able to put up some points on the Bears, but that again, that's just another great, like, again, this, like, as a football fan first, let alone Pats fan, like, just look at this schedule and be like, there's 10 or 11 games where I'm just going to have to like turn to my wife, my husband, my kids, whoever, and my boss, and just be like, sorry, yo, I can't, because I got to watch Pats Chargers, or like it's brunch o'clock and it's Pats Lions in Germany. And I'm just going to be steining my way to being obliterated by noontime.
No, there's some tremendous matchups for certain. I feel like you got like a quick window there. Like, just again, looking at it, like you have basically the first four where you have to go 2-2. Then to me, you have a window where you can go 4-0. Like, just looking schedule-wise, like, you almost, not like you have to go 4-0, but when I look at Raiders, Jets, at the Bears, and then away at the Dolphins, to me, 3 out of 4 of those are wins. They have to be wins. And then again, the Bears on the road to me is just so inconsistent. Like, we're talking about Caleb Williams again. You know, his final play in that playoff game that they ended up losing the game in the playoffs, but he ran backwards 25 yards, turned around and threw a 50-yard dot for a touchdown.
To Cole Kmet in the corner of the end zone with 18 seconds left. Dude, Savage, that I maintain. I've seen Tom Brady, the whole like Earth is 5 billion years old, and we were lucky enough to live through Tom Brady. And it's almost half of my life, and it's the best half of my life. Both of my kids were born during the Tom Brady years, so trust me, it's the most important part of my timeline. That being said, I don't know if I've ever seen a person throw a better pass than him running for his life in negative 10 degrees, Chicago style, with 3 Rams in his face, and off his back foot, throwing a 48-yard dime to the corner of the end zone to Cole Kmet on 4th down with the game on the line. That is the Caleb Williams experience. It is just an absolutely wild ride, and you have to be ready for it to, like, deliver you 15 minutes early and pull into your gate and say, thanks for flying with Caleb Williams Airlines, or have the flight literally be upside down for half of the flight, man. It's wild.
But that was what I was going to say about Caleb. It kind of like perfectly that in one play encapsulates exactly how he plays the game, which is exciting and erratic. You know what I mean? It's a player where he has every tool. I mean, coming out, you knew he had the tools. I watched clips of him coming out, compared to Drake, and they both had some phenomenal clips, but, Caleb had some throws like off 1 foot, 60 yards, like at USC. I was like, I get why he's getting drafted here. Like, his tools are incredible. He just makes some really silly decisions, and he's not nearly as polished as somehow Drake ended up being. Like, Drake ended up developing into the player that they thought Caleb would be. And Drake has developed into a better football player. I know, like, who was it? Colin Cowherd was doing rankings of top 10 quarterbacks, and he decided to put Caleb Williams at 3 and Drake at 8, and that's weird. I don't know. He's probably doing it for the clicks. I have no idea. He's a national guy. Who knows what he's doing? But yes, I think that Bears game, man, like, anything goes, and like, we got to see where the Pats are at, man. Like, I've talked about it all offseason. All their moves tell me that they want to be able to pound the fucking rock. Like, that's what they want to do. They want to run the football. They want to be able to run. And I know that they felt last year they couldn't run the football when they needed to. That's how they felt. Like, they needed 2 yards. They couldn't get 2 yards. And I think it really pissed them off, because that's how they need to operate. You can't just have Drake at 3rd and 10 doing miracles. That's not a sustainable way to win games. You know
No,
what I
he's
mean?
not going to be able to run for 38 yards up the gut against the Chargers in the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
Snoot Dogg, you remember like the Tampa game? There were, I think they had, thanks to one, if not two penalties, 5 or 6 attempts, 1st and goal from like the 2 or the 3 to ram it in against the Buccaneers, and they couldn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, last year it's similar to how we were talking about how the Bears lived and died on like crazy plays from Caleb Williams. It's like last year the Patriots lived and died on the big play, right? Like in the reference to Tampa game, the big explosive runs from Henderson and stuff that game. Like you can't sustain that for a full year again. They did last year; they got away with it, but you can't do that. So I think to Savage's point, that's why they brought in the tight end who's basically just plays tackle, right? Like they brought in the fullback from Buffalo. They want to be able
tell
to
me how you want to play football without saying this is what we're going to do. Like
right,
they want to punch you in the face and the nuts at the same. They want to go full Kumite. This like it's going to be I love that about them, don't you?
Yeah, no, I mean, like they need to get back to that. They need more balance. You can't survive doing that. Like it's good that they have that in their bag. They can do that. They can wing it around, and we all love watching, especially if they get Brown. You love being able to throw it all over the yard, but you have to have some balance. You have to be able to run the ball, especially when the other team knows you're going to run the ball. Like you can't get down to the goal line and not score like they did all year. You're not going to get away with that again. They have to be able to run the ball. They have to be able to have some balance. That's how you protect an O-line. That's how you protect Drake May.
I saw Jared Wilson today had a quote where he said he was just incredibly excited to return to playing center, which I like. I like that quote, man. It just like shows, he probably felt just a tiny bit lost at guard last season. Like you took a guy who clearly was out of position and struggled. He was their worst O-lineman last year. And, you put him at center and put him next to a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker, who is incredibly talented when he's not hurt and is insanely athletic. Like they got some serious ability there. I just, again, like we talked about Will Campbell again last time. Like, I don't know how it plays out. I'm assuming he plays the easy assumption is he plays the whole season at left tackle. That's easy assumption. Like, yep, Vrabel loves him. He'll be there. Yeah. But you don't know how training camp plays out. We don't know how Lomu looks. We don't know if Campbell's knee, if he still can't anchor. What if Gabe Yakis is fucking yakking up him at training camp and smoking him? Like you don't know. You don't know how it's gonna go. So
Yakis is a sneaky great pick, by the way.
Yeah, I like that pick a ton. But again, like I don't know how Campbell. I'm hoping he recovers, but like we all know his body type fits guard. Everyone has said he fits guard from day one. We all know this. Okay, he would be a perfectly fitted guard with like Elijah Vera Tucker one side. Because again, you play out in a year from now, Mike Nwenu is probably not on the roster. And he might do a hold in. He might hold in this season because he has no guaranteed money left and nothing on the deal. Like, so I don't know. There's a little bit of question marks with Nwenu. I don't know how Elliott Wolf is playing that out. Maybe they assume he just plays out the deal. I don't know, but there's a lot there.
Yeah. See, I think that the offensive line is going to be markedly better. And you gave it like, the old classic Joe Namath line. If, such a big word for only 2 letters. If Elijah Vera Tucker is healthy. My number one want and wish in the offseason, guys, was for the Patriots to get a big badass guard. I wanted either like Wyatt Teller from Cleveland, Zion Johnson, and they get Tucker. And my concern, obviously, is that the guy is, he's a very large elf on the shelf half of the time. But everybody says when he's healthy, and I know they're going to do everything they can to, prehab him and make sure that he's on the field as often as possible. Dude's a badass. He's a 1st-round pick. And that, like, if he occupies that much space, it's easier for Will Campbell to just focus on one guy. If Tucker's like, it's okay, dude, I got 2. It's like it was easier for Patrick Swayze to fight one guy at the Double Deuce when Sam Elliott was taking on 2 dudes early on in the heydays of bouncing. And then you've got Jared Wilson at center. That's his natural position. That's where he belongs.
Yeah.
So the left side of the line should be markedly better. And if old man Moses finally shows his age this year and can only play 12 out of 17 games, Lomu being over there and his flexibility, like, dancing Nate Solders, I like to call him. I think the kid's going to be great. It was such a great pick. Dudes, I think they did such an awesome job restocking the pantry and building the middle class, the blue collar workers in free agency and the draft, that they stock the pantry adequately to be able to do what they wanted to do again.
I think a sneaky underrated aspect of the O-line is between if you have Campbell, Vera Tucker, Wilson, and then if Lomu has to play at right tackle, that's 4 phenomenal athletes for the position.
Yeah.
Like that's 4 really, really good athletes by comparison for the position. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, you're not talking, Onwenu's the outlier there in terms of like just being huge and being able to, but he can move a little bit, but like, maybe that opens up some different stuff in the offense. Maybe you can actually run the zone a little bit this year.
He weighs like 350. He's a moose.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, if you have
absolute
guys
unit,
move, like that's what you need to run like an effective zone scheme. Like they tried running a zone scheme with gap duo type linemen, just big linemen.
Hold on, Snooty. But if you look at who they've acquired and who they've drafted, right? If we play the game of like what type of player they're acquiring on the O-line, who's the odd man out?
It's the only reason it's hard with Onwenu is he was your best lineman last year.
Yeah, he's good.
And it's hard to do that, right? It's hard to get rid of your best lineman when you don't have a ready-made backup ready to go. Like if he goes, who are you going to play?
Well, you slide Campbell down and put Lomo at tackle. That's what everyone here in this town will be yelling about. You know it. Like, the whole season. If a guard goes, you're like, just slide Campbell down.
Don't you guys think, though, like we're going to see like, should we just take bets now? Like we're going to see Lomu at left tackle before the end of the season. Like I expect that we will.
You think so? Do you think, honestly, like dead serious take, do you think that Campbell at some point shifts down to guard this season?
No.
This season, no. Eventually, yes.
It's a possibility. If he has trouble this year, then they'll go into that. It's tough to move tackle to guard like that mid-season without, if you hadn't repped it before. Some guys.
Remember the Skronsky guy that they drafted in that's what always confused me, though, about Vrabel falling so head over heels in love with Will Campbell. It's like, you've been through this before where there was a college tackle that everyone said had short arms. And then when you drafted him, you shifted him to guard. So why are you so hell-bent on
because that's his
proving
flaw.
a point this time?
That's his flaw. That's Vrabel's fatal flaw. He loves players. It's for good and bad. That's where Belichick was a savant. Belichick was like, what can you do for me?
Yeah.
What can you do? And Vrabel loves his players. And I think it's great because guys want to play for him. He's a completely different type of coach. But it also can be a flaw. Like, again, we talk about A.J. Brown, right? So if they make the A.J. Brown acquisition and A.J.'s knees act up and he deteriorates, then you're going to be like, oh, fuck, we fucked this up. And Vrabel fucked this up. And he used his rose-colored glasses and love for A.J. Brown. Let's say this is worst case scenario where you give up, let's say they give up realistically a first rounder in 2028 and you get back a fourth, something like that, blah, 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 right? A projected pick. But if AJ gets hurt or his knees can't go and he deteriorates quickly and catches like 800 yards this year and is not a one at all, you're like, that's criticism for Vrabel. And that's something that it hasn't happened yet. But I'm saying, like, these are the things you have to play out. This is what analytic people need to, should be doing. And I'm sure they have, but like, how does AJ Brown project? Like, where is he projecting? You know what I mean?
I see. I think that AJ Brown still projects as a legitimate number one. I do. I think he projects at, my thinking. So he had 1,500 yards a couple seasons, then dipped down. And last year had just a little over 1,000, had some knee issues as well. And there's been all the talk of like, is that a degenerative knee condition? Is that why the Rams backed out and didn't want to offer Devontae Adams and some draft compensation for it? Whereas I think Vrabel knows, I'm getting this guy for 2 years. I'm going to get him the first year with that sort of like 2007 Randy Moss inspiration to leave someplace where he was immensely frustrated, go and just flourish with Drake May, go full FU mode. And you'll probably get like Timu AJ Brown next year, but that's fine. That's all you're paying him for. And that's what I guess they'll probably end up giving maybe a second and a player, third and a player, or a first round pick of the future up for it. But I think he's going to be awesome. And just think, but like moving aside from just what the player is going to give you, think about what bringing that player in is going to do for every single other person on offense. How much better? I still think they're going to re-sign Diggs. Think how much that'll help Diggs if Diggs occupies his slot this year. Romeo Doubs should have his run of the land this year. Like, I think Deion Branch 2.0 is going to just feast this year in the Drake May, Josh McDaniels offense. All those guys are going to benefit from Brown coming to town.
Well, can you imagine if so Brown to me is it's like a done deal. We talked about it a couple of days ago. That to me is like as done of a deal as you can have a done deal. Right. You know what I mean? Without pen on paper.
Yeah, like we're taking over Greenland and AJ Brown is coming to Foxborough.
Like the deal is there, you know what I mean? It's drawn up like that. The Schefter doesn't come out and say like, yeah, he's going to Foxborough, without having that be pretty effing set. So, and I think the Diggs thing, I think it's weird. That whole Kyle Williams switching his number back. I don't know. That was kind of interesting. I was like, all right, I wonder if someone's like, hey, buddy, let's not get too hasty here. Let's switch it back to 18 and, because maybe Diggs comes back. So if there's any off chance that maybe a 1-year deal for Diggs at $15 million, you know what I mean? Like just guarantee it. Here you go.
Not the 23 that he was supposed to get on that 3 for 69. Right.
Yeah. Like you just say, hey, all right. Like, I didn't think it was, like he was going to get paid too much. And I think, if you get him on 15 and you get Brown in here and you can afford these things, you have, if your room is truly AJ Brown, Romeo Doubs, and Stephon Diggs, like, I don't know, dude, you got some big dudes. You can run, you can throw, your line's better. Like that's a dangerous unit, really dangerous unit. And I think that would go toe to toe with anybody. I mean, who wouldn't you take that unit going toe to toe with, honestly?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why, like people say, like, why would Diggs take a pay cut to come back here? And it's like, that's why. Guy wants to win a Super Bowl, right? Like I know he's a diva.
Just got there, right?
Yeah, but like he wants to win. Like I have a ton of respect for him as a competitor. Like he fights his ass off, he plays hard, and he wants to win. So that's how you get him back here. You go, look, you're like last year you were really the only option at receiver. Now you're in the mix with a whole bunch of guys, and you guys can actually open stuff up for each other all over the field.
Yeah, it's obviously there's a ton of potential with the team. It's tough when you get to the Super Bowl and you lose, and it's like how to rebuild the pieces. I remember doing it in the years where Brady lost, whether it's 07 and 11. And I remember being like, I remember calling Snooty after 2011 and being like, we couldn't get it. You know what I mean? Like we were there. They should have won it. Like you watch back to 2011 with the Wes Welker drop and stuff. You're like, man, how did they not win that football game? Like that team was nasty, dude. All year they were nasty. So
nasty.
It's just so hard to win, and that's why I think ultimately like Brady appreciates it so much, right? Because he started, winning more than almost not winning, and it's really fucking hard to win. I mean, even Tom Brady in the middle of his prime didn't win for 10 years, a whole decade.
Literally went an entire football player's career.
Yeah,
without winning a Super Bowl, yet went to multiple in that time and still couldn't bring it home. Of the umpteen things that make Tom Brady's career so remarkable, I think the fact that he survived an emotionally cataclysmic moment like having a perfect season end in Super Bowl 42, coming back to then have your knee explode, bounce back, and go to another Super Bowl years later, still not win, survive, watch the team draft your replacement, and use that as inspiration to better yourself and come back at almost the age of 40 and be the best version of you.
Yeah.
What a fucking legend. And also, like, what a roadmap for all of us to try and follow to be successful or just be 1/900th as awesome as Tom Brady was.
I think the other thing, I think it was his sixth season. His fifth as a starter before he lost a playoff game.
He was.
I remember it well. It was January 2006 in Denver. Yeah. And by the way, I'll go to my effing grave saying that Ben Watson got Champ Bailey, and it was a fucking touchback.
That was a touchback.
We're all old enough now. This is where we lose the young people. Just saying, like this is where we lose the younger people because we all remember that play. I'm pretty sure I watched it with Snooty. Like, were we in the same room? We might, or maybe we were in college. I don't remember. Oh no, wait, yeah, we were probably in
I have no idea.
2006. I don't remember. Anyway, so but like that's like it's hilarious. That's 20 years ago, dude. 20 years ago. 2-0, like
20 years ago.
And you remember it, you're like, fuck, Ben Watson, dude. Like you remember it that strongly. And I can see him chasing down, was it Champ Bailey or whoever that, I remember seeing it. And I wish they had review because they would have turned that over. But it's crazy, man. The run was incredible. It's gonna be weird to see Brady calling a Patriots game again, especially after his comments. I don't. People haven't like touched on that story that much. I find
does he have a dog in that fight, guys?
Yeah, dude. Other players he played with did not take well to that at all. I mean, many, and even publicly, like Teddy Bruschi had some scathing public comments about.
He was not happy about that at all.
If you talk to him in person, he would have probably ripped Tom, because he knows Tom, knows Tom, and that's not who Tom was. Tom was an incredible competitor and team player, incredible competitor. And I'm sure Bruschi's like, who's this guy? Like, who's this politician?
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing to me. So
it felt a degree soulless. And I know there's a business like capitalistic calculating element to Tom Brady in general, let alone in Tom Brady's post-playing career. I don't care. That's fine. He bought so much amnesty. He delivered so much joy for us that, save for coming to my house, kidnapping my kids and lighting the house on fire. Like, honest to God, do what you want, Tom Brady. That's fine. I'm good with you, man. It's okay.
Yeah. The
You're
positive,
Tom fucking Brady. You're Tom fucking Brady.
The positive emotion greatly outweighs the negative emotion by his comments for sure.
Hey, quick question. So I know there's like tons of great schedule release videos that are out there as well. And a lot of other fan bases are chirping about their schedule and how difficult it's going to be and blah, blah, blah. So Patriots supposedly, they travel the 5th most air miles this season.
Mm-hmm.
They have the 4th most difficult schedule to start the season over those first 4 weeks. What do you guys think, though, like looking at the whole thing? What's the one game? Because I still think it's going to be Packers. Like it's the 9th game, so it's like literally the fulcrum of the season. What's the one game that's going to be like sneaky huge for these Patriots?
Like the biggest potential win?
Yeah, like the one where it's like, oh man, if they won that, or thank God they won that game.
I mean, I think week 13 against the Bills at home. 425, because you got that run of games before, and then leading up is tough with Green Bay, Lions, and Dubai, then Chargers. Like, it's a tough stretch. You get to the Bills, you beat the Bills at home. You're still looking down the Vikings and Chiefs directly after that, and I think you need to win at least one of those games, and then it doesn't even necessarily cool down. You get Jets and Miami the last 2 of the last 3, but you get the Broncos in there at home. So I don't know. That to me is a turning point. But this schedule feels like, I would say, fairly well balanced towards the second half of the year with pretty difficult teams on paper. We could look at this after the season goes, right? And you could find 11 wins on here somewhere, right? Like, you could go through team by team, and we can do it now if you want. But you could find your wins somewhere and be like, okay, there's a guaranteed 6 wins of the lowest teams. So they're going to beat a few of these teams that you don't think they're going to beat. They might beat Seattle week 1, and you'd be like, oh, all right, shit. We didn't put that in the calculus. You know what I mean? And a lot of these teams are going to be around 10, 11 wins this season. I don't know how many teams, who's winning 14 games in the AFC? Buffalo's going to win 14 games?
No.
Denver's going to win 14 games? I think they're going to end up losing some of these. So now the Chiefs are back. The Bengals with Burrow. The Lamar is healthy with Baltimore. You have a bunch of teams that are pretty competitive and have a lot of good players. So I don't know. There's a lot here. I don't know. There's a lot to it.
What's your boy's early prediction? I got 12-5.
I'm gonna say. I think looking at it. Hold on. I'm literally gonna do it
listen. Now's the time to do that line item action.
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. Week 1 against the Seahawks. I'm actually gonna say win. I'm going to say they go on the road and win.
I think they're going to win.
It's a weird week. It's weird. It's week 1.
Yeah.
I know Vrabel teams lose week 1. I know that, but I'm going week 1 win. And I'll start 2-0 against the Steelers week 2. I got 2-0. I get sneaky loss on the road against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's tough. They're tough. They can run the shit out of the football. I think that's tough against your linebackers. I'll say loss in Buffalo. So there's 2-2 right there.
Wow. Okay.
Raiders, Jets at home. Easy. It's 4-2. I got a win on the road against the Bears, 5-2. A win away against the Dolphins, 6-2. So I got them 6-2 going against Green Bay at home. Man, I'd love to make that a win as well. I'm gonna say a win at home, 7-2. I'm just gonna have them winning 15 games. I'm gonna say Lions on the road. I'll give them a loss, although I think they can win that game. I'll give them a loss, 7-3. Chargers away. I'm gonna give it a loss, 7-4.
And that's the perfect time for Patriots losing on the. They bookend the bye with losses. Is there trouble in Vrabel paradise? What's going on?
Losing focus. Win at home against the Bills. Get right game. 8-4. Win against the Vikings at home. 9-4. Oh man, I gotta win in too many. 10-4, 11-4, 12-4. I don't want to have them win 12 games. It's like too many. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't do my math. I'll have them losing one of those. I think they beat Kansas City on the road. Maybe they lose to the Broncos.
Could it be a surprise loss at the Jets?
I'll say 10 or 11 wins. That'll be my fair take. 10 or 11. There's going to be a couple losses in there. Although I'm going through it, I'm like,
you just punted mid-schedule.
I'm like I'm going through it. I'm like, they're going to be like 15-2. No, I'll say conservatively. I'll say 10 is you have to hit 10, get in the playoffs. I'll guess 11. Upside is 12. That'll be my range. 10-12.
I got 12.
You guys got? Give me your
Tootie, what do you got?
I got 12. I said this before. I think Denver is not going to make the playoffs this year.
Wow, that's
a good. I like that take. It's a good take.
Sean Payton fucked everything up when he decided to like go for it on 4th and 1, and then like just think that he was being so arrogant, like I can beat Vrabel and Drake May and Josh McDaniels with Long Dong Jared. Like no way. Like
I just feel like maybe I'm gonna get clowned later in the season, but I feel like I don't know. He fucked a bunch of shit up in New Orleans when he was there. They lost the AFC Championship game, which historically that team usually drops off the next year. I feel like they sneaky had almost as easy a schedule as the Patriots did. They also were equally as had pretty good injury luck overall, which tends to even out. Potentially negative foreboding for the Patriots, but I feel like they're just an overrated kind of like team on paper. I just feel like that's the team that's they're gonna fall off. They could go 3-1 to start the year. I figured they're gonna beat Pittsburgh and Jacksonville, and then I think they're gonna clip one of either Buffalo or Seattle, one of them. And then sneaky, I could see them losing to the Bears just because they're the away team on Thursday night. I don't see them losing to Miami. Probably split Green Bay and Detroit. And then I think they beat the Chargers. Chargers are one of those teams, like, I just don't have respect for the Chargers. I just can't until they actually win something. I just can't do it. And I like Jim Harbaugh, and I respect Jim Harbaugh, but I just can't do it.
Mike McDaniel makes a difference, though.
Like, if they lose to Buffalo before, I see them winning the next one. Minnesota, I think they win that one because it's Thursday at home. At Kansas City, that's a tough place to play. I'm not super high on the Chiefs or anything this year. I think they're sneaky overrated, but
I'm not high on the Chiefs at all.
But that's a tough place to play. It is theoretically Mahomes.
Yeah, when is he coming back? That's the thing, because Schefter keeps pumping out he's way ahead of schedule. Like it's gonna be miraculous. He's gonna start week 1, like 9 months off an ACL for a quarterback who uses his legs in the clutch to like deliver victory from the jaws of defeat. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be. I don't think he's the same guy, you know what I mean? Like, and to be honest, you can look at his stats, like there's reasons for it, but like he's been basically average for 3 years, statistically average. And I know
he like leads the league every year in passes that should have been interceptions.
Yeah, he fucks up all the time. I mean, like literally look at his statistics. It's not even like an emotional argument. It's actually the opposite. Like look at his statistics. He's had a pretty average, and even last year he was below league average. Like he has not been great. They rely heavily, kind of like the Patriots early dynasty in some way. They rely incredibly heavily on defense and really good coaching. And that's how they won 2 of those Super Bowls there. There was all fucking Chris Jones being an absolute maniac Hall of Famer. And, that's how they won those games. But like the early Mahomes has not been the guy. I know like you can't change the narrative once it gets going. Everyone says, oh, he's the GOAT, he's this, he's that. Like hard to change the narrative, but like hasn't been great. And so maybe he'll turn around, he'll get back to full strength, but I don't see it with that roster necessarily. Like I don't love their offense. So I don't know. How many wins, Fitzy? What do you got?
For me, I got 12 for the Patriots, 12-5.
12. That's a great season if they do that.
It would be. And the crazy thing is, like, people are going to say, like, how are you coming off a Super Bowl season? You're supposed to get better in the draft and free agency and Vrabel and revenge tour. Like, you're going to lose. You're going to have 1 or 2 hiccups, like Snoot was saying, and you're going to have. I'm psyched that we're hive mind on 12-5, and it's also tough. Like, it's just like that is like, you want to talk about just like John McClane having to run his way through the broken glass to get to the bathroom to like find a way to save the Nakatomi Plaza. At Seahawks, home Steelers, at Jags, at Bills, like brutal September to kick off the season. There's a couple of wicked stretches in there, like Packers, Lions, bye, Chargers, Bills, Vikings, Chiefs. Damn, son.
I know.
Damn, son.
You got to go 3-3 there.
That was my point earlier in the pod too. Like, what I love about this schedule, and I don't mind if they lose a couple of hard-fought games along the way. Like, sorry, everybody. I hate to burst your Foxborough precious Drake May unicorn and Ann May delicious Bakesmith bubble, but like, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard. Like, this team can't just go on the magical mystery tour that they did last year and land at 14-3 and coast their way with thoughts, dreams, vibes, and miracles through the playoffs. They're gonna have to freaking fight their way to get back. Like, this is going to be full-blown Fight Club to get back to where they want to go. I think they have the team. I think they have the coach. He's going to be so pissed off this season with everything that everyone has said about him, and he knows that he ate shit. He knows that he deserves a lot of it. Drake May is going to be out to prove it as well. A lot of those guys are going to get behind him, and hell hath no fury like a Vrabel scorned, and they're going to get after it. It's going to be so fun. And I think when they re-sign Diggs and they bring in AJ Brown, watch out. Like, legitimately, let me ask you this: do you think there could be a better, more potent, more fun receiver trio in the NFL than a Dobbs, Diggs, Brown combo, the DDB?
I think that would be the first time in years we felt like they had more than enough talent. Like, you know what I mean? As like, just to describe it, right? Like, when's the last time you've been like, that's a pretty good offense? Like, that's enough.
Yeah.
You got to go back to maybe like
2014.
when they had Edelman. I think like when they had Edelman, obviously Brady, but like, Gronk, a healthy Gronk, Edelman, Chris Hogan, and well, I'm missing one, but yeah, like
the 2014 Patriots offense that had Edelman and Amendola and Gronk and LaFell and Blunt. That was a damn good offense. And Shane Green, that was a good offense.
2016, where they averaged, I think they were like first in the league in scoring and like first in defense. It was a disgusting 14. Like, you forget how good they were.
Brady only played 12 games and he threw 32 touchdown passes and had 4 picks.
Like people truly forget. You go back and look at like their first in offense and first in defense. Like, it was like they were so disgusting. It was, it's crazy to. Sometimes I go look at the stats and just look at how it was unbelievable. But people truly forget how the top tier they were.
That was no Gronk that year too, right? Or most of that year.
Which year? 2016.
He was injured in late November, and then Martellus Bennett Marty Soros Rex had to take over.
Yeah, he was not in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately. But all right, well, let's wrap it because we'll take enough of Fitzy's time here. Fitzy,
this is the best sports bar that I've been at for an hour. Are you kidding me? This is awesome, dude.
Fitzy, why don't you tell the people, whoever's here, tell them where they can find you and what you're up to and what you got going on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, boys. This was a lot of fun. Fired up for this football season. Like I said, you got a long way to go of warm weather, beaches, putting them in the lake and the sand trap at the Muni, and everything that's awesome about spring and summer in New England. At Fitzy GFY all across your socials. Got some fun football stuff, some pop culture stuff, and more coming up in the post terrestrial radio landscape of my life. It's a weird place to be, but it's also a good place to be. No, I will not be hosting the post game show on WEI or beyond. I will be going into more football games, more tailgates. I'll be hanging with Snoop Dogg and Savage wherever they'll have me at the tailgates. Just back to doing what I did, which is just being an authentically absurd, ridiculous super fan of my favorite teams in the world, cold beverage in hand. And I'll just say now, book your tickets for Los Angeles next February. People, let's freaking go.
Let's go. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. Peace.